In what can only be seen as a quest to completely and totally destroy everything that came before it when it comes to Star Wars. Kathleen Kennedy showed up on a podcast recently. In this lovely little article from Bounding into Comics, Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy says upcoming Rey film will question, does the galaxy need the Jedi anymore? Do they want them back? Well, first of all, they definitely don't want Rey back, but let's see. Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy recently provided more details on the company's Rey film starring Daisy Ridley that they announced at Star Wars Celebration. I cannot wait for this trilogy to come out. If you think Rey Palpatine, I'm not calling her Skywalker ever again, if you think she is going to be some sort of draw to get fans in seats for a Star Wars film, you are sorely mistaken. Kennedy appeared on Entertainment Weekly's Dagobah Dispatch, where she reiterated much of the talking points she shared about the film at Star Wars Celebration. She said, quote, well, as we move into the future space, which this story is about 15 years outside the rise of Skywalker, I said it. Obviously, we realize that post-war, post-First Order, rise of the new Jedi Order, because you're going to steal that from the expanded universe. We left Episode 9 with Rey making a commitment to Luke Skywalker that she would rebuild it. How did she make a commitment? My name is Rey Skywalker. That's not a commitment. That's stealing a legacy, stealing a name with a piss-poor story. That she would rebuild the Jedi Order, and so here we are. We are ready to do that. And it took a lot of discussion because obviously we've been developing stories in different spaces and failing miserably. And television has been a big focus of our attention right now. Oh, television has been a big focus right now. Yeah, Andor, the best Star Wars story that nobody watched. But there's still I keep smacking my lips, my goodness. But there's still so much interest in what happens after the rise of Skywalker. No, not really. Nobody wants after it. They want a different story. They want somewhere away from Tatooine. That would be the first start. Something away from Tatooine. So we are excited to do that now, she concluded. Yes, but you're going to go about it the wrong way, and you're going to ostracize more and more fans. Later in the podcast, Kennedy was asked about the announced James Mangold film that is expected to go back to the distant past and tell the tale of the first Jedi to wield the Force. Oh, that's going to be a woman. Tale of the first Jedi to wield the Force and harness it as a liberating power in an era of chaos and oppression. Though buzzwords aplenty in there, I will bet a paycheck that the first Jedi to wield the Force is going to be a woman. This is Kathleen Kennedy because the Force is female. That is not a misogynist thing to say. It is their ideology. That is who Kathleen Kennedy is. Everything. Every single thing. It's all about the Mary Sue. Not the website. That place is trash. She said, we've been talking a lot about going well into the past, and one of the things that's really knitting all this together, obviously, are the Jedi. Yeah. Remember the space wizards in movies made for kids? That's a whole nother discussion right there. Fuck you, Freddie Prinze Jr., you're an idiot. What happened with the Jedi over time, much like history? How did the Jedi evolve? They were wiped out with Order 66. Apparently not, because every single story that comes out has more and more Jedi surviving Order 66. And even traveling through time, because that's just a fantastic way to tell a story. They were wiped out with Order 66, then they gradually have been coming back, except there was only the few that were in the original trilogy. But, who cares about retcons as long as you get to see more Jedi, more lightsabers, more duels, because that's what makes fantastic storytelling. The question that we're going to ask with the new Jedi Order and with Rey is, does the galaxy need them anymore? Do they want them back? I understand that the possibility is there for a good story, but I do not have any faith whatsoever in Kathleen Kennedy, Dave Filoni, or anything or anyone at Disney to write an actual good, compelling story with interesting characters, well thought out storylines, and decent world building. I don't see it happening. Let's continue. So there's a lot of food for thought. Oh, come on, Ed. thought in what we're doing, whether it's in the past, present, or future, Kennedy continued. Kennedy went on to confirm that the iconic Star Wars crawl would return. It better return. It's a staple. Come on. For the Rey-centric movie, saying the crawl's coming back. The crawl's coming back. Okay. What? And when pressed on whether it was just for the Rey film, she added, "No, crawl is for movies." Yeah, it is for movies. What kind of question is that? Kennedy would also be asked how she and Lucasfilm determined which stories are adapted to television through Disney Plus and which ones get the movie treatment. She answered, "I think your question is one of the most interesting ones facing many of us who are doing high and premiere television." It's not premiere television, it's poor writing. I bet the writer strike is going to help. Ha! Because, let's see, high-end premiere television, because there are so many things we can do in streaming now where we do massive effects and hiding streaming numbers. We really increase the scale and size of these stories, even though we put them on one single planet that is the farthest from. And I certainly find myself personally looking at, well, what is that direction? That movies something on the... Huh? What is the distinction that movies, something onto the big screen versus the smaller screen? Okay? And it's usually the intimacy of the character-driven stories, which you've been... whatever, that you try to really push in the television space, and then spectacle that you can preserve in the movie space. Okay. Low budget versus high budget. Okay. In the press release, Lucasfilm detailed the Rey-centric film will star Daisy Ridley reprising her role as Rey and tell the story of rebuilding the new Jedi Order and the powers that rise to tear it down. Because that was a story from the expanded universe that was Luke Skywalker's story that they're going to steal and butcher and bastardize for Rey. Because that'll make the fans happy, right? I doubt it. Lucasfilm has not announced a release date yet because they just announced the movie. Whatever. And given Lucasfilm's track record of announcing films and never bringing them to theaters, there is certainly quite a bit of doubt on whether the film will actually get made. If they don't make this movie, Disney's Star Wars is dead, if it's not dead already. Nevertheless, the film will reportedly be directed by Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy. I don't even want to talk about her. What do you make of Kennedy's comments? What do I make of Kennedy's comments? I believe she is on a quest to completely and totally destroy every bit of fan devotion and love for anything that came before the Disney Star Wars trilogy. Everything. Tear down the beloved characters, the legendary characters, butcher them to fit your agenda, the Force is female, and then let people pick through the ashes of whatever is left. As I've said before, Disney bought the golden goose from George Lucas and proceeded to cook its remains for Thanksgiving dinner. But let me know what you think in the comments. Are you looking forward to a Rey-centric Star Wars trilogy that asks the question, does the galaxy need the Jedi anymore? Do they even want them back? Let me know what you think in the comments. Leave a like, leave a dislike. I appreciate you making it this far nonetheless. Have a good one.